Welcome, one and all, to Pacific414 Pop Talk. I'm your host, Mike, and tonight we're going to be talking about several topics, and one of them being a new Rambo TV series, another being Wonder Woman 3, and some Star Wars news, and a few other random notes. So, let's just go ahead and get underway, and let's start with the first article here, and this is coming from Variety, and it's talking about Netflix unveiling their huge expansion of Japanese content with a greater emphasis on feature films. And also, as you can see, tonight I am trying a new overlay, new setup. So we'll see how this goes. And the reason why it's being tested tonight is because Saturday night after AEW Full Gear, I will be having a episode of Pop Talk with Over the Barricade podcast, and we will be going over the results of AEW Full Gear. It'll be myself, Patty Jenkins, and our good friend King Phoenix. So bear with me as I go through this part of the setup today. It'll be a different overlay on Saturday, but tonight's, the night to run an experiment. Let's see how it goes. But anyways, getting back to this article where it says that Netflix is going to expand their Japanese content with a greater emphasis on feature films, and this came out of Variety yesterday, and it's by Patrick Frater, and it says global streaming giant Netflix is in the process of unveiling a huge expansion of its slate of Japanese film and TV content. These are aimed at cementing and strengthening its position in the critical Japanese market and also showcasing live action and anime programming that is expected to cross borders. It says, after the recent success of Korean series Squid Games, many eyes have as I clear my throat. Many eyes have turned to Asia for further high-concept non-English language shows. Netflix itself recently said that the Squid Game effect had propelled futuristic Japanese series Alice in Borderland back up the rankings in several territories nearly a year after its original release. Over the course of its 2-day Netflix Japan Festival 2021, the company is expected to disclose details of 50 new shows. Day one presentations focused on animation, while the second will home in on live action. These are in addition to the 90 Japanese shows that have previously been available. Continues on to say, the new lineup includes work by renowned filmmakers Mori Yoshiro, We Couldn't Become Adults, Gekiden Yutori, and again, I do apologize if I'm mispronouncing any of these names. I'm going to do my best here. And tie-ups with leading animated film studios like Studio Colorido, A Whisker Away, Drifting Home, and they also did some work for Disney's Star Wars Visions. It says, our next big bet is expanding feature films. Japan is home to extraordinary talent who shaped the cinematic history of the world, with creators as diverse as the ones we work with today. We're excited to play a role in the history of great local talent, finding their voices and delivering them to audiences everywhere. Said Sakamoto Kata. And again, I am trying, and if I mispronounce any of these names, please let me know. Netflix Vice President of Content in Japan. Outside research has recently suggested that Japan now represents Netflix's largest consumer base in the Asian in the Asian Pacific region, having possibly overtaken English language early adoption territory Australia, but it is rival Amazon Prime Video that is the premium SVOD market leader in Japan. In a research document, Media Partners Asia recently said that Amazon has more than 15 million monthly active users in Japan and accounts for 46% share of households streaming time. Netflix is estimated to have more than 6 million subscribers in Japan and to lie fourth in terms of minutes consumed behind Amazon Prime, TVer, and Abema. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right either. Abema TV, but ahead of locally owned Hulu Japan. In recent months, Netflix has announced other movies that deepen its roots in Japan. In March, it announced that it had signed a long-term lease on studio space in Tokyo to be used for local productions. In September, it set up a creators lounge complete with artists in residence intended to embed it further in animation. And last month, it unveiled content packs with both Tokyo Broadcasting System and Nippon TV, owner of Hulu Japan. says Netflix has not disclosed its Japanese financial commitment to date, nor publicly set itself an investment target for the future. Unlike South Korea, where at the beginning of the year it committed itself to spending close to $500 million in 2021, it says it's seeing growing international interest in Japan content. Japanese titles like The Seven Deadly Sins, The Record of Ragnarok, and Rurouni Kenshin. And again, I apologize for mispronouncing any of these names. The beginning, each reached the platform's top 10 in over 50 countries. It said, too, that over 120 million households have watched at least one anime title in the past year, a figure more than double the number of households in 2013. And yes, I have seen Seven Deadly Sins because a friend recommended it to me. I haven't finished it yet, but it's actually pretty good. Now, you are able to also watch it on Funimation if you don't have Netflix, so that's a plus too if you don't want to sign up for Netflix because of the whole cutie scandal. And honestly, if you feel that way, I can't blame you either way. It's your money. Spend it how you want. So, what do you all think about Netflix, bringing in more material from Japan? And it's obviously a hit. And, content from Korea was obviously a hit with Squid Game. So, the more variety, the more content you can bring from outside the US is probably a good thing. So, speaking of Netflix, let's go ahead and move on to Netflix doing another adaptation, a live action adaptation, this time with One Piece. No, I have not seen One Piece. I am aware that it's up to 1,000 episodes. I don't know if I should actually start watching the series knowing that there's 1,000 episodes. That would take some time to get through, but we shall see. So, get rid of that. It says One Piece Netflix live action series sets main cast. I don't know why I do that. Don't ask me. Okay. So it says the One Piece live action series at Netflix has cast 5 of its main roles. Inaki Godoy, both youth who killed Sarah, Ikenzu, and okay, so basically it's going, because I know I'm going to butcher some of these names. Well, here's one I'm not going to butcher. Emily Rudd, and it says Jacob Romero Gibson, and it gives the previous projects they were involved in, and Taz Skylar will star in the series. It says Godoy will play Monkey D. Luffy, with McAdoo set to play Ronit. I'm not familiar with the show, so these names, they're unfamiliar with me, but I'm sure, and I would appreciate anybody in the comments, whether you're watching this live or after the fact, if you could help me with the correct pronunciation. Anyways, Ranoa Zoro, and again, I butchered that. I know I did. Rudd will play Nami, while Romero Gibson will play Usopp. Skylar will play Sanji. All the characters are a member of the Straw Hat Pirates, the protagonists of the series, based on the iconic Japanese manga of the same name. One Piece centers on Luffy, a young man who embarks on a journey to become king of the pirates and find the celebrated One Piece treasure. The show was ordered for 10 episodes at Netflix back in January. In addition to the manga, 20 seasons of the One Piece anime series have been released to date, with 14 animated films. And that's quite a lot. We've been working with Netflix and Tomorrow Studios on the massive project that is the Hollywood live-action series adaptation of One Piece. How many years has it been since it was announced, right? I know, but rest assured, we've been making steady progress all along. That author of the manga series and executive producer Ichiro Oda. Again, I apologize for mispronouncing any of these names. It's not easy when you're working with people from different cultures, but it's precisely that process that can yield something special. For now, we're able to announce the main cast. Rather, we need to hurry and announce it, or else it'll be leaked. Apparently, okay. I lost where I was. Sorry. Okay, the main cast. Rather, we need to hurry and announce it, or else it'll be leaked. Apparently, hilarious. LOL. Their face, the size of their mouths and hands, their aura, the way they carry themselves, their voice, their acting skills, their height, the balance amongst the Straw Hat crew, etc. We decided on this cast after numerous discussions involving people around the world. These are the people who will be our Straw Hat pirates. It'll take place more... Okay, try this again, Mike. It'll take a bit more time to get the show done, but we'll continue to do our best to deliver a show that we're confident will be enjoyed by everyone around the world. Look forward to more updates in the future. Steve Medea serves as co-writer, showrunner, and executive producer on the One Piece live-action series, with Matt Owens also co-writing and executive producing. Marty Aldestein and Becky Clements of Tomorrow Studios executive produce along with Oda. The series is a co-production between Netflix and Tomorrow Studios, with Netflix handling physical production. We are so excited to sail with this amazing and talented cast, said Medea and Owens. Finding the right people to pull off the looks, emotions, and actions of the iconic Straw Hats was a long and challenging and fun process. Much like the search for the One Piece itself, but we have finally found the perfect fits. They have already begun working very hard to bring the characters to life. You will come to know and love them just as much as their manga counterparts. All of us can't wait to show you what we've come up with. Onward to adventure. Hello, Godzillionaire. How you doing, brother? Glad to see you here. Yes, this article is talking about the live-action One Piece show. And I have not seen One Piece, so I can't really give you any frame of reference as to what goes on in the story, and I don't know if I'm going to dive into the deep end of that series, just because it's been going on for 20 years and there's over 1,000 episodes. I don't know if I'm ready for such an undertaking. But, you know, Netflix is trying to get the anime crowd and trying to do it in live action. I don't know what's going to happen with Cowboy Bebop. I do know I have no interest in watching it. I'd rather watch the anime itself. Yes, it's only one season of the anime, but I've been turned off ever since Danielle Pineda said what she said, and that doesn't make me want to tune into the show. putting down fans just because Faye Valentine won't look how she looked in the anime. Well, yeah, we understand that, but let's talk about this. She says that you can't have a character that will look identical to the anime because of the outfit that character wears. Well, all right. For those of you who may know, those of you who may not know, I'm a wrestling fan. And the outfit that Faye Valentine wears in Cowboy Bebop is no different than some of the wrestling attire that the women's wrestlers wear, whether it be in WWE, Impact Wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor, or even the Independents. You won't find women wearing wrestling attire that's kind of similar. And let's see what Godzillionaire has to say here. Godzillionaire says, I watched the first 175 episodes and kind of lost interest. The Dragon Ball Z scenario, way too much filler. Yeah, see, that's another thing that takes me out of a series, when you have too many filler episodes instead of focusing on your main story. It just takes me out of it. And I know I'm not alone in that. And also, another point of news I wanted to talk about this evening. May he rest in peace. And yes, we can go back to One Piece. We can talk about Cowboy Bebop on this show, even if I've already talked about it at some point. If you all still want to talk about a certain subject, mention it in the comments section and we can go back to it, because I'm flexible on this show. To be perfectly honest with you all, I'm flexible here. Want to check one last thing. Again, this is a new setup, so you'll probably see me constantly checking things to see, if things are running smoothly. And thanks for letting me know about that. Thank you. Because I do have a friend who says you got to check out Naruto. Ooh. Not if it's filler seasons like you're saying, Godzillionaire. By the way, got a question for you, brother. Were you able to get back into your Discord? Because I know the other day on Spock Stream you were saying you're having trouble logging into the Discord after you clicked on the link that was in my server for his Vulcan Science Academy server. So I hope you're able to get back into that, brother. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about a loss of a great character actor. And Sam would be lost forever if it wasn't for Al. And it was nice to see Dean Stockwell reunite with Scott Bakula in season 2 of Star Trek Enterprise. Yes. Really? The heck? That doesn't seem right. I know you don't spam. I'm seeing what you posted, not just in my own server, but in other servers that we're mutually a part of, and you don't spam, brother. All right, it says Dean Stockwell, who began his acting career as a child in Hollywood's golden age and later performed memorably as David Lynch's Blue Velvet in the comedy Married to the Mob, for which he was Oscar nominated, and on TV's Quantum Leap, for which he was Emmy nominated, died Sunday. He was 85. Skip on me. The actor racked up an extraordinary 200 credits in his career that spanned 7 decades, working with notable directors including Lynch, Jonathan Demme, Robert Altman, Wim Wenders, Sidney Lumet, and Francis Ford Coppola. He picked up a supporting actor Oscar nomination in Demme's 1988 mafia comedy Married to the Mob. And if you haven't seen Married to the Mob, you're missing out on a great comedy. I'll tell you that. It's one that my mom and dad had rented one time, and I actually watched it with them, and you'll get plenty of laughs in that movie. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All right, so, and of course it mentions how Michelle Pfeiffer was in it, Matthew Modine, in which he played mob boss Tony the Tiger Russo. Yeah, Tony the Tiger, you know, who was simultaneously chilling and amusing. Yes. Hello, Whoopa Troopa. Glad to see you here, brother. Thank you for stopping by, brother. Yes. Yeah. 200 film credits. It's hard not to forget what movies and TV shows he was in. It says one of Stockwell's most memorable roles was as Admiral Al Kalavicki in NBC's sci-fi series Quantum Leap, which ran for 5 seasons between 1989 and 1993. And let's not forget him playing the Cylon Priest in the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. Okay. It says the womanizing, larger-than-life character was the foil for Scott Bakula's role as Dr. Sam Beckett, a physicist who engaged in space-time experiments. Okay, it goes on to say Bakula and Stockwell became close friends. Bakula remembered Stockwell as a kind man who was generous to other actors, having been a child star and full of varied interests ranging from music, the environment, to cigars and golf. That is true. That is true. I mean, one of the topics I will get to tonight, Whoopa, is the box office for the Eternals. Not good, tell you that. Okay. I was on to say that he loved music and the environment, cigars and golf, and has a quote from Scott Bakula saying, "I loved him dearly and was honored to know him. He made me a better human being." The role earned Stockwell 4 nominations for the Primetime Emmys and a Golden Globe win in 1990 for Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in a series, miniseries, or motion picture made for television. Stockwell received a star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame on February 29th, 1992, the same year in which he played a disgruntled screenwriter in Robert Altman's The Player. But there were plenty of memorable performances for which Stockwell did not receive awards recognition. Among them was the bizarre turn in Lynch's exploration of the dark netherworld that secretly lies between a nominally ordinary town in Blue Velvet. Here, Dennis Hopper had the more shockingly brutal role, but Stockwell was more subtle in his creepiness as he lip syncs to Roy Orbison's song In Dreams. Writing about Blue Velvet in 2006, 20 years after its release, Terrence Rafferty referred to the movie's indelibly weird Ben, played by Dean Stockwell, as the epitome of poverty. Stockwell had first worked for Lynch in the director's 1984 adaptation of Dune, as you gentlemen mentioned, playing the treacherous Dr. Yu, who in Stockwell's hands became there we go again. Sorry. Became odd but sympathetic. Goes on to say the actor was also known for his role in Wender's 1984 classic Paris, Texas, in which he played Walt Henderson, who offers quiet support to his brother, Harry Dean Stanton's Travis Henderson. In 1988, in the wake of Stockwell's string of successes, culminating in his work in Married to the Mob and his portrayal of Howard Hughes in Coppola's Tucker, the Man in His Dreams, the New York Times ran a laudatory profile of the actor. And let's see. Hey, Alan, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. I don't know why it was hiding that, but... Huh. What is this? And don't pay attention to Nightbot. I'll fix it. But Alan Copeland, you're fine, brother. It's Nightbot. I'll go in after the stream and I'll fix it. All he was doing was saying hello to me. I don't know why Nightbot has to be so finicky. I realize it's trying to block spam and a whole bunch of other crap, but it doesn't need to block my regular viewers. I will fix it, I promise you guys. Okay. Says, describing his development from child actor to adult, the Times said the Shroob, I think that's how you say it, the Shroob scene scampering with toe-tapping Gene Kelly and Anchors Away had turned into a dark, intense, charismatic leading man. Stockwell could play memorable all-balls or establishment figures with equal ease. Reviewing Harrison Ford, Actioneer Air Force One, the New York Times said Dean Stockwell has a brief, amusing turn as the overly ambitious Secretary of Defense. On the military courtroom drama Jag, from 2002 to 2004, Stockwell recurred in the role of Senator Edward Sheffield, who becomes Secretary of the Navy. Stockwell recurred as a different kind of authority figure on the new Battlestar Galactica from 2006 to 2009 as Cylon known as Number One or John Cavill. In 2013, Stockwell appeared in Jerry Lewis' Lawn in the Works, returned to film, Little Scene, Max Rose. Robert Dean Stockwell was born in Los Angeles to actor parents Nina Oliviet and Harry Stockwell. Dean and his older brother Guy, also an actor, made their Broadway debuts in 1943 in The Innocent Voyage. MGM signed the adorable Dean to a contract, and he made his first film appearance in Greer Garrison Greggy Peck drama, The Valley of Decision, and Frank Sinatra Gene Kelly musical Anchors Away, both in 1945 when he was 9 years old. Okay. Hell to you, Spock. Hell to you. Okay. Will do, brother. Will do. Yeah, I just set this up today, so, just trying to get the kinks worked out before Saturday's All Elite Wrestling Full Gear post show that I'm going to be doing with a couple of friends. So, how the Excelsior was experimental? Well, this is experimental as well. Might as well call this the NX class. Okay. And it goes on to talk about in 1947 he was reunited with Peck in the classic Elia Kazan directed Screen Against Anti-Semitism, Gentleman's Agreement, playing Peck's son, who is ridiculed when Others mistakenly think he's Jewish. The next year, he starred in another issue-oriented movie, Joseph Losey's The Boy with Green Hair, a parable about racism. Another classic in which he appeared while still as a teen was MGM's 1949 adaptation of Francis Hudgens Burnett's The Secret Garden, in which Stockwell played the crippled Collins, starring with Margaret O'Brien, Herbert Marshall, Gladys Cooper, and Elsa Lanchester. In 1945, whaling picture Down to the Sea in Ships, he was the character over which stars Lionel Barrymore and Richard Widmark struggle. He also appeared in Jacques Cousteau's powerfully moral western Stars in My Crown, starred in William Wellman's Schoolboy Tale, The Happy Years, and starred alongside Errol Flynn in the Rudyard Kipling adaptation Kim, all in 1950. That was the year my mom was born. During the 1950s, the growing Stockwell would move back and forth between film and the new medium television, and on Broadway he appeared in Compulsion, based on Leopold and Leob case, and he appeared in the classic 1959 big screen adaptation starring Orson Welles. Stockwell and Bradford Dillman played the highly intelligent young sociopaths who murder a child to see if they could get away with it. Stockwell, Dillman, and Wells shared the Best Actor award at the Cannes Film Festival. And check the comments again. Let me. That's all right. That's all right, Godzillionaire. Yes. Thank you, Spock. All right. So, says during the 1960s, Stockwell was appearing primarily on television, but his few cinematic forays were memorable. In 1960, Stockwell played Paul Morrell in Jack Cardiff's highly regarded version of D.H. Lawrence's Sons and Lovers, which picked up 7 Oscar nominations. He appeared in Sidney Lumet's 1962 feature adaptation of Eugene O'Neill play Long Day's Journey into Night, starring Katharine Hepburn, Ralph Richardson, and Jason Robards. At the Cannes Film Festival, Richardson, Robards, and Stockwell won a shared award for Best Actor. Says, having explored the hippie subculture himself, Stockwell starred along with Susan Strasberg, Jack Nicholson, Bruce Dern in 1968's Psych Out, directed by Richard Rush and featuring elements of the burgeoning counterculture such as drugs, hippies, and psychedelic music. But otherwise, Stockwell devoted his professional life during the 1960s to guest appearances on likes of Alfred Hitchcock's Presents, Wagon Train, Dr. Kildare, on which he had multiple episode arc as Dr. Rudy Devereaux, and Bonanza. Majority of those shows my mom watched with my grandfather. The highlight of this TV work was particularly memorable 1961 episode of The Twilight Zone, A Quality of Mercy, in which he starred as American officer ordered to lead a charge against the Japanese, but is then transported back in time and transformed into a Japanese officer in an analogous situation. ultimately gaining a perspective he hadn't had before. In 1970, when Peter Fonda bowed out, Stockwell stepped in to star in the Peter Roman-produced Lovecraftian horror film, The Dunwich Horror. Stockwell also appeared in the 2009 remake. The next year, he appeared in Dennis Hopper's Misbegotten, The Last Movie. In 1972, he starred in The Loners, a road movie that owned a debt to Easy Rider, in which he played a half-Native American on the run from the police, and with Dennis Hopper and Henry Jogham's anemic 1976 anti-war movie Tracks. During the decade, he worked as a real estate agent for a while. Things started to go right again in his career in a big way, starting with Paris, Texas in 1984. Stockwell was a longtime friend of musician Neil Young, and the pair co-wrote and co-directed a little-seen 1982 film, Human Highway. Lawton artist Stockwell designed the cover art for Young's album, American Stars and Bars. Alright, so if any of you have that album, you have a collector's item. See what you guys are saying in the comments. Alright. Alright, Godzillionaire saying to Alan he's very slow today. And then Spock says, peace and long life. As that's funny. Okay, and says, when one Vulcan says live long and prosper, another usually says peace and long life. That is true. And Godzillionaire says the Dunwich horror book is messed up. And Godzillionaire also says, I'm a poor Trekkie. I only watch TOS, TNG on and off, skipped DS9 and Voyager, watched all of Enterprise. Godzillionaire, whenever you get a chance, brother, watch DS9. You won't regret it. I know some people didn't like it at first, but to be honest, brother, it's a great show. It's probably the best of the Star Trek spinoffs, if not the best out of all the spinoffs. So, what are your guys' memory of Dean Stockwell? And I'm going to try something here as you guys are talking. Second. Let's see. To do this afterward. Yeah, I'll just do it afterward. All right. You know, Dean Stockwell, he's got over 200 credits to his name, a lot of material that you can go through and you can see him in, whether it's movies or television. I know I didn't get familiar with him until, I saw him in Married to the Mob, of course, and, Quantum Leap, because that was my first introduction to Scott Bakula. And Dean Stockwell, he's a great actor. I mean, I was happy and surprised to see him in the Battlestar Galactica remake. And then when, he showed up on Enterprise and you had him reunited with Scott Bakula, that was real nice. That was something that I felt that Rick Berman and co did, not just as fan service for fans of Quantum Leap, but as an ultimate way to get two great actors who had worked together and who worked well together, and it was evident on screen, get them on screen together again, only this time in the Star Trek universe. And Spock saying underrated opinion. I love Voyager. That's all right. We all have our favorite series, Spock. And if your favorite series happens to be Voyager, then stick with it. Don't change. Don't let anyone persuade you to change your thoughts and your opinion on Voyager. If that's your favorite, stick with it. For me, of the spin-offs, my favorite used to be TNG. And then by the end of DS9, after it aired its final episode of, What We Leave Behind in June of 99, DS9 was my favorite. And it's still my favorite of all the spin-offs. Let's see. Alan Copeland said, really loved him in Quantum Leap and Stargate SG-1. Yeah, that's the thing. An actor like Dean Stockwell, there's not one piece of material you won't find him in. That is for darn sure. And now, the next article I have lined up here is out of Boundians Comics. And it's talking about Henry Cavill weighs in on rumored Black Superman movie and TV series. And Spock says, thank you, Mike. Voyager gets too much backlash. I'd rather watch that show 100 times more than Stardom Prodigy. I'd rather watch Voyager 100 times more than anything that's being produced right now for Star Trek. I mean, you've heard my opinion over and over again on Kurtzman Trek. I do not like it. It takes away from Gene Roddenberry's vision. It takes away from what we know of Star Trek. I mean, even when we were all watching the motion picture this weekend and, talking about it yesterday on Tuesday Night Trek, we were all reflecting on what is good about that movie. Yes, there are some things like the long, drawn-out scenes going into the Voyager cloud. I know it's V'ger, but we all know that the satellite they find is Voyager 6. Spoilers, by the way. But that movie is still more Star Trek than anything that we're getting now. Anything that we got in the J.J. Abrams films, whether it be Star Trek 2009, Into Darkness, or beyond. That is true Star Trek right there. So, it says, actor Henry Cavill, who plays Superman in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League, recently reacted to the rumor Black Superman movie and TV series. It goes on to say, back in February, it was reported that Warner Media and DC Films hired radical left-wing activist Ta-Nehisi Coates, to write a new Superman story being produced by J.J. Abrams' Bad Robot label. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. I hope this is, you know what? You'll have to give me 1 second. I've got to add something. I've got to add something. I don't hardly ever use it. So you'll have to forgive me as I go to add something else to the stream. But I very rarely use it, and I think now is a good time to use it. Let's see. Hey. All right. I hope you guys can hear this once I have it set up here. I know I probably should have had it set up earlier, but I wasn't sure if I was going to use it. Yeah. Right now, I think I am going to use it. So, let's see. Yeah. Here we go. I hope you guys can hear that. Concerning Bad Reboot. And, adding one more boo, but maybe I should add a little bit of laughter into this situation. I hope you guys can hear that. I'm not really hearing anything through the headphones, but I didn't set it up that way. But I do see that the meter's going, so I hope it's conveying to you guys watching this right now. God's in there? You let that photon torpedo and you fired. Yeah. Yep. Can't argue that. Okay, so it says back in February, it was reported that Warner Media and DC Films hired radical left-wing activist Ta-Nehisi Coates to write a new Superman story being produced by J.J. Abrams' Bad Reboot. Yes, I said that on purpose. Bad Reboot. Not Bad Robot, Bad Reboot. Label. Costas confirmed the reporting telling Shadow and Act to be invited into the DC Extended Universe by Warner Brothers, DC Films, and Bad Reboot is an honor. I look forward to meaningfully adding to the legacy of America's most iconic mythic hero. All right. So what you guys were supposed to hear was an effect. Let me give me a second. That's what I'm calling this, the NX class. This is the experiment for tonight. How about now? Guys hear anything now? If not, I'll keep working on it. I might actually work on it off stream, just try to get it working properly. All right. So it goes on to say, Abrams added, there is a new, powerful, and moving Superman story yet to be told. We couldn't be more thrilled to be working with the brilliant Mr. Coates to help bring that story to the big screen, and we're beyond thankful to the team at Warner Brothers for the opportunity. So we're probably going to be getting more mystery boxes. All right. I'm going to try one more thing, guys, and then I'll just experiment with it offline. Quick. That works. If it doesn't work, again, I'm just trying new things, and yeah, like I said at the beginning, everything I'm trying right now is an experiment. Whether I continue with this, well, yes, I probably will, but I want to try to get the bugs worked out, get the kinks worked out. Try one more thing here. All right, come on. All right. Let's see if it's working now. Again, bear with me tonight. I will probably be experimenting with this not only tonight, but in future nights as well, just to try to get some of these kinks worked out, but I'm not going to know unless I actually try it live. So Can you hear that? If not, again, it's just something I'll just keep working on until I can get it to actually work. Okay, let's see. It says, while Warner Brothers Pictures chairman Tony Emmerich stated Tahiti coats between the world and me opened a window and changed the way many of us see the world. We're confident that his take on Superman will give fans a new and exciting way to see the Man of Steel. Goes on to say the following announcement: the Hollywood Reporter in May claimed that Warner Media and DC were looking for both a black director and a black actor for this new Superman film. The Hollywood Reporter's Tatiana Siegel and Boris Kitt wrote, insiders say Warner's and DC are committed to hiring a black director to tackle what will be the first cinematic incarnation of Superman featuring a black actor. Okay. Goes on to say, on top of the Abrams produced and Coates written Superman, there was also a rumor from Collider in July that Black Panther actor Michael B. Jordan was looking to create a Black Superman limited series for HBO Max featuring the Superman of Earth 2, Val-Zod. Collider's Jeff Snyder claimed Michael B. Jordan and his production company Outlier Society are developing their own Black Superman project for HBO Max that centers on the Val-Zod incarnation of the character. Collider has exclusively learned, and it goes on to say, Henry Cavill has recently given his opinion on the idea of a black Superman in a recent sit-down interview with The Hollywood Reporter. The Witcher Star stated, it's exciting. Superman's far more than skin color. Superman is an ideal. Superman's an extraordinary thing that lives within our hearts. He continued, why not have multiple Supermen going on? Joaquin Phoenix did a wonderful Joker movie. So what if it's not tied to the rest of the franchise? They have multiple Superman comic book stories happening at the same time. It says, not only did Cavill provide his opinion on a black Superman, but he also talked about the possibility for a sequel to Man of Steel, noting it could revolve around Superman's reaction to killing of Zod in the first film. He explained, there's still a lot of storytelling for me to do as Superman, and would absolutely love the opportunity. It says, the killing of Zod gave a reason for the character to never kill again. Superman falling to the ground and screaming afterward. I don't think that was originally in the script, but I wanted to show the pain he had. I did far more emotional takes they didn't choose. Tears were happening, stated Cavill. He elaborated, he just killed the last remaining member of his species. That's a choice he made in that moment, and he'll never do that again. There's an opportunity for growth after that to explore the psyche of Superman as a deep, seemingly invulnerable, godlike being, but the real feeling on the inside. As I always say, the cape is still in the closet. Well, honestly, I don't think there is going to be another Henry Cavill Superman film because, we're going on almost 9 years now without a Superman film, and with Henry Cavill as the sole lead and not involving Batman v Superman or Justice League, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to have to do a few more things because I got the sound card a year ago, and sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't work. I've had times where it doesn't give me issues at all, and it'll work, and people on the stream can actually hear, the different sounds that are playing. And then other times where it just doesn't want to work. I didn't pay that much for it, so in case anybody was wondering that, and sometimes it's true. You get what you pay for. Well, I went for the cheaper option, and well, there we have it. But I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not giving up. That's the thing about me. I don't give up. I'm always willing to try something new. Heck, doing this tonight, trying something new. Let's see. Let me just put up some of these comics here. All right. Yeah, that's true, Godzilla there. Michael B. Jordan has been attached to so many projects that it's hard to keep track of what's actually factual with all this and what's just, Hollywood rumor. And Spock is saying, Mike, I would like to extend my arms to you to join my new show called Trek Talks that will premiere on the YouTube channel. It will be this Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. We are discussing the Orville Season 3 ideas. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Spock, and I'll be there. I promise you, I'll be there. Anytime. And I want you all to know this. In case, there's a non-subscriber watching who has a YouTube channel, or there's a subscriber who has a YouTube channel, doesn't matter who you are. If you've got a YouTube channel and you want me on your show, just know that if you ask me to be on the show, I will be there. Now, I do want to come out and say that I do have some things that are set. And one of those things is the Over the Barricade podcast that I do every Saturday over on the Over the Barricade podcast Twitch channel with the host Patty Jenkins. And we usually do that at 3 o'clock Eastern time. So that I'm locked into. I gave him my word several weeks ago after AEW All Out when he asked me to be a part of his show after we had done our results show on my channel. I told him after we finished with that first broadcast together, when he invited me to be a permanent co-host of his, I told him I will be there. I'm committed to this. So if any of you want me on, your live stream for any particular reason, and you want me there, come in occasionally or on a permanent basis, semi-permanent basis, just know that when I tell you I will be there, I will be there. If I can't be there, I will let you know. I will let you know ahead of time. I won't let you know at the last minute. I will communicate with you, because that's what I do. I will communicate with people. I try to, coordinate when I'm doing live streams. Can you come on for maybe a couple hours, couple minutes, and we can talk during this live stream? In other words, I try to work with people. And I try to keep my commitments. And Whoopa Troopa saying, Gazillionaire, it gets tiring. They cry for diversity, but pick the same black guy for every role. Oh, it's true. You do see the same actors over and over and over again when there are so many other actors, not just in Hollywood, but in entertainment in general, who could probably do the job better, if not equal, and, make a name for themselves. Yeah, this article goes on to say, that Man of Steel director Zack Snyder previously gave his thoughts on the matter, telling Radio Times, "My feeling is that I love J.J. Abrams. I love what he's done in the past. I'm interested to see what happens. It's a bold and cool, probably a long overdue move." And also, Zack Snyder even said he's not associated with Geeks and Gamers after agreeing to go on to the charity stream that was arranged by Uche. And he basically threw them all under the bus after they committed to a charity. And that doesn't sit well with a lot of fans, including myself. However, he also stated, "But I love Henry Cavill as Superman, of course. I do. He's my Superman." Snyder added, "I'm not really involved in any of the decision making at Warner Brothers in any way, so I guess for me, it's just wait and see what they do with this and how it manifests itself. But on the surface, it seems interesting." So there we go. We have Zack Snyder's take on, the new Superman film being produced by J.J. Abrams and written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. And, Henry Cavill is trying to say the right things because he wants to do another Superman movie. Plain and simple. He wants to do another Superman movie, and the only way he can do it is by saying the right thing. Yep. I agree with you there, Spock. When it comes to Orville, the Mocklins, a species like that has technology that's superior to that of the Union, defenses that are superior to that of the Union, I could see them leaving the Union, and if not joining the side that we all think they're going to join, but also becoming another faction. I don't know. We'll have to see what Seth has in store, because we know that the Kalon are going to be a formidable threat. We know that. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of role the Mocklins do play in season 3, because they are going to play a role. All right, so let me pull up another article here and I will get to it. But yeah, what do you all think? Do you think that we're going to see Henry Cavill as Superman, or do you think his days as Superman are, well, they're done? Personally, I think they're done. I don't think we're going to see him as Superman again, because they've already stated they want to move in a new direction. And Spock says, "Yep, the Kalon aren't going away." Nope, they're not going away anytime soon. All right. So we have another article here from Bounding in the Comics. It's by John F. Trent, and it was released yesterday. And it says, "Doctor Who's ratings nosedive, appear to be in freefall with no basement. Uh-oh, mayday, mayday, mayday." Yeah, Brandon Routh actually wasn't a bad Superman. When you watch Superman Returns, I know it gets a bad rap. I know it does. But you know what? I did pick this up recently, and of course it has the Richard Donner cut of Superman. It has the original Superman film, and then it has Superman Returns. And I actually have original theatrical release that was actually put out into theaters on DVD, along with my DVD copy of Superman. But I'm sorry, Henry. I don't think you're getting another Superman movie. And Petruba says, yep, I think he's done. Fox says, Reva's the best of all time. I don't care how good the new visuals are. Character makes Superman, not CGI. Exactly. And that's one of the problems nowadays with modern entertainment. They don't really work on their scripts. They just put in something that's heavily CGI and say, there, stare at that for a while. But after a while, it's gotten to a point where we can all say this. You look at the CGI, whether it's in a television show, whether it's in a movie, and you can tell it's CG. You can tell it's CG anymore because they don't put a lot of work, they don't put a lot of effort. You would think, especially in, 2020, 2021, that the CGI would be on screen and you wouldn't be able to really tell that it's CGI, but unfortunately that's not the case. Look at, some of the DC films. Wonder Woman 1984. That CGI was horrific. Horrific. Okay. I haven't seen that yet, but I'll have to check it out. And Spock is saying, granted, he was not my favorite, but the director and writer at least knew what they were doing. Man of Steel and Justice League were plain stupid and fake looking. Yes, they were. And Spock says, scripts are not even double checked. Half-assed writers. Yeah, I mean, I get mad at myself when I put in a spelling error when I'm writing something. Or, I post a tweet for all my followers on Twitch to see, all my subscribers to see, even non-subscribers. And I see that I put in some sort of spelling error or grammar error. I get mad at myself. And Spock goes on to say, because they already make money, why would they need to make more money from a CGI superhero film? And Spock goes on to say, if anything, they'll still want profit, but won't make the story compelling. Yeah. Rather very generic is right, Spock. All right. I'm sorry, comments, jokes, sarcasm. You can't really tell sometimes, at least I can't. Go ahead. Say what you want to say. Go ahead. Don't be offended. I won't dye my hair purple, blue, or pink. I won't read about it on Twitter. Anyways, this article concerning BBC's Doctor Who, and honestly, I only watched the New Year's Day premiere episode of Jodie's and haven't gone back since. Says the BBC released their second episode of Doctor Who's Series 13, titled Flux Chapter 2, War of the Sonatarans, and the overnight viewership numbers are abysmal because the writing's abysmal. It says, according to Doctor Who News, the show was only viewed by 3.96 million people. 3.96 million people. Now, in an article I read last week on Pop Talk, it said that highest point for Doctor Who before Jodie became the Doctor, the ratings were at 10 million. And the season premiere for Series 13, they debuted at 4 million, 4.6 million. That's a 6 million drop. That means 6 million people, including myself, don't give a crap about current Doctor Who. And it goes on to say that's a sharp decline from overnight numbers for The series debut episode, Flux Chapter 1, The Halloween Apocalypse, goes on to say that episode saw overnight viewership hit 4.43 million. At the time, it was the lowest viewed episode of Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's time on Doctor Who. It has since been adjusted upward to 5.79 million. Now, in my opinion, how do we know that those numbers aren't being, fixed, rigged, puffered up? Spock goes on to say, geez, Doctor Who is still going? Who even watches Jodie Whittaker? Not a very talented actress compared to others I've seen. Yet, I can't remember the name of the show that she was on, but apparently there have been other shows that she's been on, and people are praising her acting skills. Yet, here on Doctor Who, she's not showing much as far as her acting range. Okay. Zillionaire says, Legends is my guilty pleasure until season 6. The first half did Mick Rory a solid. Then they made him a joke. I'm done now. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. When they ruin a character like that, I don't blame you. Cough, cough. Sigourney Weaver. Cough, cough. Yeah, she's a good actress. Come on. Someone who can go from a serious sci-fi action film like Alien, show up in Ghostbusters, and then later on show up in Galaxy Quest. She's a talented actress. She's got a lot of range. A lot of range. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing Ghostbusters Afterlife next week. I know what Dan Aykroyd said last week. I don't care. I've already made up my mind. I'm going to see it. I will review it. I don't know if I'm going to do a review that night, but I will do a live review after seeing the movie. Okay, so goes on to say, looking at just the overnight numbers, the total decrease of around 470,000 viewers. Percentage-wise, viewership declined by 10.6%. And goes on to say, if the 3.96 million number stands, it would be one of the least viewed episodes of Doctor Who of all time. According to Doctor Who News, there are only 7 episodes with viewership below 4 million. They are 1989, Battlefield Part 2, 1986's The Trial of a Time Lord, The Mysterious Planet Part 3, The Trial of the Time Lord, The Mysterious Planet Part 4, 1980's Full Circle Part 2, Battlefield Part 3, 1969's The War Games Episode 8, and Battlefield Part 1. Says Neon of Clownfish TV notes, this was a massive drop-off. People are tuning out from the show for sure. It's indisputable. And, Neon, Geeky Sparkles, they're usually spot on in anything that they're talking about, because just like this show, they're just talking about rumors. They're not saying that it's fact. Some of it is fact that they're talking about, but they do a good job there on Clownfish TV, and I'm not ashamed to say I'm a loyal subscriber. Okay, and goes on to say that he adds, you can argue whether or not the show is any good. You can argue whether or not it's been given an unfair shake because of Jodie Whittaker or whatever, but it's very clear that people are tuning out of Doctor Who, and they continue to tune out. Yeah, and I honestly don't think that Russell T Davies is going to be the anecdote that the show needs. It says, in the United States, the TV series finale reports viewership for the show dropped by around 35,000 viewers compared to the first episode. 35,000, that's still a big drop. says Flux Chapter 1, The Halloween Apocalypse, was viewed by 339,000 with a 0.0 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. It says the second episode saw the viewership drop to 305,000, while the rating in the demo stayed the same. Interestingly, the drop in viewership percentage was similar to that in the United Kingdom. It fell by over 10%. I think what they need to do, instead of having Russell T Davies come on as showrunner, they need to give Doctor Who a rest. They need to let it go on hiatus for some time. And I feel that way about Star Trek right now. Yes, I was initially excited to hear about a new Star Trek series, but now seeing what we've gotten the last 3 seasons, now going on to 4 seasons starting next week, it should have stayed on a hiatus, or it should have been given to people that actually care about the franchise to begin with. It goes on to say Doctor Who's Series 13 is being presented as part of a special 6-part story where the Doctor is exploring the Crimean War, her own history, and a new antagonist known as the Flux. The official synopsis, as provided by the BBC, states Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, John Bishop, and Jacob Anderson star in an epic 6-part adventure which will take the Doctor and her friends to the edge of the universe and beyond in a battle for survival. It adds, packed with action, humor, terrifying new villains, and iconic returning monsters such as the Sonotarans and the Weeping Angels. The new series of Doctor Who tells one story across a vast canvas. It features a host of acclaimed British acting talent, including Rashonda Sandall, Annabelle Jolie, Craig Parkinson, Kevin McNally, Sam Spurrell, I was about to say Steve, Robert Bathurst, Steve Orr, and the diagram. The description continues. Finally, it concludes from Liverpool to the depths of space via the Crimean War and a planet named Atropos, which shouldn't even exist, fighting old foes and new creatures from beyond our dimension. The Doctor and company face a race against and through time to uncover a universe-spanning mystery. What is the Flux? Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way about it. Well, hello, Brian. Hello, the Nerporeal life form. Thank you. Really appreciate that, Brian. Really do. It's always good to see you and Whoopa Troopa, Alan Copeland, Spock. Oh, it's always nice to see you guys here. But yeah, Doctor Who, just like Star Trek, Doctor Who is dead. There's no other way to go around it. Doctor Who is dead. And Nerpoil is saying, yeah, God's in there. Yeah, God's in there. You know, Brian, I did see another trailer for Ghostbusters Afterlife yesterday. I meant to mention it to you after Tuesday Night Trek, but, you know, we're all ready to go. But yeah, I am going to see it probably next Thursday, if not next Thursday, next Friday. And I myself will have a review of it. And if you'd like to come on, I'd like to have you on, brother. And let's see what's saying here. Yes, he's saying hell. At the Nepuro life form. Let's put that up twice. So yeah, much like Star Trek, unfortunately, Doctor Who is dead. So now let's go ahead and go to another article. This is also out of Bounding in the Comics. Yeah, I think we're all trying to do something a little different just to stand out, and it doesn't help to learn these different techniques. I know after this live stream I do have to go through and change a few things. Tried to play the sound card earlier, but nobody could hear anything, so I'll have to tinker around with that. And but yeah, I'm always looking to try to improve things on this channel. Try to do something a little different than what I've done previously. Just because I don't want the content on here to get stale. I don't want you guys to be bored. I don't want to be bored myself doing the same thing each and every time. Now, with the exception, the box score will probably continue on with the same theme that I had for this year, only because I happen to like that theme. Now, could something happen between now and opening day next year where I decide to add something different or do something different? Of course, but as of right now, the box score overlays and everything I had set up for this season will probably continue into next season. But again, like I said, things can change. And Nerdpoil says, I am going to do my own stream after seeing Ghostbusters next week, Thursday. Well, if I'm not able to go see it next Thursday, like I said, I'll probably go and see it next Friday or, on the weekend. But you're more than welcome to come on the channel when I do my review, just to put your thoughts, down and, talk about the movie. Yeah, it did. It really did die with Matt Smith leaving. And Godzillionaire is asking, when does Ghostbusters get released? It gets released actually next Friday, but I know my local theater already has listings for next Thursday. The earliest one is 4 o'clock. I'm going to try to make it to that one. If I can't make it to that one, there is a 5 o'clock showing because I don't want to go to a later showing. I want to try to get there to the earliest showing. This way, I can get home and give you guys, my review, my reaction. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. I had to throw that in there. And Nerdpoil is saying that he's going to see it next week. Godzillionaire says, I'm a financially fiscal kaiju. And Bach is saying he loves the box war theme. Thank you very much. And Bach goes on to say, especially the music. Well, as someone who enjoys this music, I'm glad that I was able to pick a theme that you like, and I hope you all like it when you hear it. Although you won't be hearing it that much this off season, The only thing that you might see on occasion is the box score mountain visit, where I'm talking about, the different moves in the off season, but right now there's really nothing going on, so there's really nothing for me to talk about. Okay, so this is from John F. Trent out of Bounty in the Comics. Yes, it was from last Thursday, but I only saw it yesterday. I thought, I'm still going to talk about it. But it goes on to say, more evidence emerges that Disney changed the name of Boba Fett's Slave One. Sorry, Disney. Sorry, folks. But just like there are certain ships that'll always be named Enterprise, Boba Fett's ship will always be Slave One. It's just part of the lore. It says more evidence has emerged that the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm have changed the name of Boba Fett's ship from Slave One to Fire Spray. Okay, I know I have a ship in Star Trek Online named Firestar, but at least you can pretty much figure that there would be a Federation starship in Star Trek called the Firestar. If not a starship, at least a shuttlecraft. But Fire Spray? Oh gosh, Disney. You can't leave well enough alone. Okay, it says, back in June, Lego packaging for Fett spaceship did not include the name Slave One, but rather described the ship based on its appearance in The Mandalorian Season 2 as Boba Fett's starship. It goes on to say, on top of this Lego packaging, Lego Star Wars design director Jens Grunwald, Fredrickson, and Lego Star Wars lead designer Michael Stockwell explained that order had come to no longer that the order had come down to no longer use the name Slave One. Let me guess. Let me guess. Current times, right? Yeah. All right, brother. All right. Well, no, happy birthday to your brother. Thank you for stopping by, Spock. Really appreciate it. It's always nice to see you here, brother. And yeah, let me know more about your talk stream that you're going to be having on Monday, because I am interested in coming on, even for the first episode. Yes, Doctor Who is dead. And Whoopachua says, it's so silly they're upset about Slave One when it has nothing to do with real life. Well, none of the things that they get in an upheaval about are about real life. You know, they're trying to change fantasy, science fiction to meet whatever standards they have, but they don't even care about these properties, and they never will. So, to change the name of Boba Fett's ship from Slave One to Fire Spray or Boba Fett's starship, people are still going to call it Slave One. I'm still going to call it Slave One because that's the name of the ship. It would be like changing the name of the Enterprise by now. You can't do it. There was a time where human beings didn't get so easily butthurt. Okay, it goes on to sell us on this idea of the name change. It says Stockwell told Jedi News, we're not calling it Slave One anymore. This is Boba Fett's starship. When asked why the name was changed, Fredrickson said, everybody is. It's probably not something which has been announced publicly, but it is just something that Disney doesn't want to use anymore. Well, the biggest mistake was George Lucas selling Star Wars to Disney almost 10 years ago. Then in August, a press release sent to Screen Rant to promote Marvel Comics crossover series Star Wars or the Bounty Hunters, fed ship was called Fire Spray. It was listed among 5 other bounty hunters and their ships as part of a variant cover initiative that arrived in September. The 6 ships and their bounty hunters included Bosk and the Houndstooth, Boba Fett and Fire Spray, IG-88 and IG-2000, Zuckuss and the Mist Hunter, Balance, Bilbert and the Broken Wing, and Dengar and the Punishing One. Okay. Says now more evidence has arrived in the form of officially licensed merchandise from Her Universe. If you are unfamiliar with Her Universe, the fashion brand describes itself as a groundbreaking fangirl fashion company and lifestyle brand founded by actress and entrepreneur Ashley Eckstein, whose mission is to create stylish, fashion-forward merchandise for female sci-fi fans. The description adds, hoping to change the perception that science fiction and fantasy is just for boys, Her Universe is a place for fangirls to step into the spotlight and be heard, recognized, and rewarded. Eckstein voiced Ahsoka Tano in Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. In case nobody knew that. And Woopa Troopa is saying goodnight to Spock. And I like this Woopa. I really do. Woopa is saying slavery in Star Wars universe doesn't have anything to do with race. B. Boba Fett is a bad dude. Why does he have to be PC? He doesn't. He's a villain. He's a bounty hunter. He doesn't go by the rules of your typical hero. He's the anti-hero. He goes by his own rules. Okay, this article goes on to say the new Fire Spray merchandise was spotted by the Boba Fett fan club, who tweeted, "It was only a matter of time and we saw the signs. Fire Spray merch is now a thing. New official items from Her Universe." It's still Slave One. You know, I mentioned this on Saturdays over the barricade because we were talking about AEW wrestler Eddie Kingston and how he still tries to make everything believable, everything seem like it's real because it's still real to him. Well, it's still going to be Slave One to me because that's the name I grew up on. I'm still going to call it Slave One. I don't care what anyone says. And says on top of these shirts and the Lego set, Boba Fett fan club reports there are 4 other Slave One pieces of merchandise that call the ship Fire Spray or Boba Fett Starfighter or Starship. They include the NPC Boba Fett Starfighter, the Lego Star Wars Advent Calendar also describes Boba Fett Slave One as Boba Fett's Starship. The official description for the set states the 11 mini build vehicles include the Razor Crest, Riot Mars, Starfighter, Imperial, Troop Transport, X-Wing, TIE Fighter, Imperial Light Cruiser, Boba Fett Starship, and the Child's Hoverpram. So it goes on to say the Star Wars Mandalorian, Boba Fett Starfighter, and Imperial Light Cruiser 3D collectible calls the ship Boba Fett's Starfighter, not Slave One. Finally, the Augustini's Star Wars ships and vehicles describe Slave One as Casa Eslar de Boba Fett. It also describes it as Boba Fett's Fire Spray 31. The name Fire Spray might be familiar to Star Wars fans, as Slave One is a Fire Spray 31 class patrol and attack craft. While all of this merchandise no longer describes the ship as Slave One, The Star Wars databank still describes the ship as its original name. However, if you look at the URL, it does say Boba Fett Starship. What do you make of the new evidence that Disney has done away with the name of Slave One as Boba Fett's ship name? I'm going to tell you right now, they're trying to appease to a group of fans who, again, they don't care. They don't care about Star Wars. They don't care about the history. They don't care that the name of the ship has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do with what's currently going on in our own world, what happened in history. Like Woopa Troopa said, Boba Fett is a bad dude. Boba Fett is a bounty hunter. Boba Fett does what Boba Fett wants. And let's go ahead and highlight this. Hello there. That's my only one. Let me get rid of this. And I will go ahead and move on to another article. But what do you guys think? You think Disney, even though they do own Star Wars now, do you think they're overstepping their boundaries when it comes to changing Star Wars lore, changing the name of ships that we've come to know, and, actually come to revere because of the ship design and everything? What do you guys think? And while you're posting in the comments, I will move on to the next article. Part of the reason why we're all here tonight. General Napoleon. Great. So, now I talked to General Chaos, Digital Department of Defense, also known as TKO. Some of you have met him here on Pop Talk streams and other streams here on the channel, and also over on Twitch. So now we've got General Nerporio. All right, okay. I know it's an Obi-Wan reference. I know. I know. General Grievous. Okay, so this is again out of Bounty in the Comics. Again, it seems to be where I find, the headlines that, catch my attention. And this is by Christopher Colley. It was actually posted on Sunday. And it goes on to say, Rambo, Hellboy, The Expendables, and Has Fallen TV series revealed as in development. Okay. What do Rambo, Hellboy, The Expendables, and Has Fallen franchises all have in common? Absolutely little, outside of the fact that Millennium Media is apparently working to bring each respective IP to the small screen. Well, as long as Rambo doesn't have blue, pink, purple hair. Okay, it says the existence of each project was first revealed on November 5th by Millennium Media president Jeffrey Greenstein, whose studio helped produce both Rambo and Hellboy's latest cinematic outings, as well as the entirety of the Expendable and Has Fallen trilogies during a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter. Asked by the site's UK correspondent, Alex Reitman, if Millennium Media might follow in the footsteps of their production peers and move into developing television projects, Greenstein admitted that while our focus has always been on feature film, we do have a slate of TV that we're developing. But my plan is to focus on our IP within the TV space and build out Has Fallen TV, Rambo TV, Expendables TV. We're playing with Hellboy TV, so there's lots of opportunities to continue, but I really want to launch something IP driven first before we start developing original content. It goes on to say, though little is known of each potential series outside of their existence as in development, it's likely any such television project would see each title role from Sylvester Stallone's Barney Ross in Expendables to Gerard Butler's Barney Ross in Has Fallen to David Harbour's Hellboy, recast as Greenstein noted earlier in an interview that, from my perspective, we're in need of some newer, younger action stars. So instead of creating a new action IP, they're going to use existing ones. Yeah, I know that's par for the course in Hollywood nowadays. Says, and I would like to help build those stars, Greenstein added, so we're willing to take risks with newer talent. Goes on to say, Millennium Media's next big release, The Expendables 4, is currently shooting and is on track for a 2022 release. Additionally, the studio's own cinematic adaptation of the Red Sonja comic book series, starring Ant-Man and the Wasp actress Hannah John Kamen as the titular female warrior, is currently set to start shooting in spring 2022. Says, are you excited for a television series based on any of the aforementioned franchises? Let us know your thoughts on social media or in the comments below. Again, it's Hollywood taking existing IPs that have been, to a degree, successful in the past, and then taking those IPs and doing whatever they want with them. And I don't even want to see what they're going to do to these series. I don't want to be pessimistic about this, but if you go by everything that we've seen in the past, well, I think it's going to be pretty evident that we're going to get a whole lot of crap. A whole lot of crap, folks. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next article. And that is the Eternals box office this weekend. Well, let me just click on the link. And again, bounding in the comics. Let's see. Whoopa Troopa is saying, oh, the same people who work on the Red Sonja show with an actress without red hair. Not a good sign. No. It's a crime against redheads. It's a crime against redheads. What do they have against redheads? Redheads are awesome. All right, so this is by John F. Trent. It was released on Monday, of course, with Eternals opening up on Friday. And who are you? Thank you, Nightbot. And that's why Nightbot is here. Alright, it says, Marvel Studios' latest entry into their Marvel Cinematic Universe took top spot at the box office with an opening weekend of $71 million. While the film unseated Dune from its top spot with $71 million opening debut, it underperformed box office predictions and had one of the worst opening weekends in Marvel's Cinematic Universe history. Says the numbers featured two box office predictions for the film. It underperformed both projections. That's because nobody wants to see it. First, the box office tracking website predicted the film would earn 74.4 million based on a model created on opening weekends for similar movies. Second, they used the film's Thursday preview box office take to extrapolate to an entire weekend. The model predicted the film would gross 78.8 million. And that's a warning to anybody who tries to put spam here. It will be blocked. You will be called out on it. Says not only did Eternals underperform the predictions from the numbers, it also underperformed predictions from Box Office Pro. Box Office Pro originally projected the film would have an opening weekend between 80 million to 102 million. However, they significantly adjusted their prediction range to between 67 and 92 million at the end of October. Then, just before the weekend, they claimed it would make 78 million. With its 71 million opening weekend, Eternals took the third worst opening weekend spot for an MCU film from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings based on inflation-adjusted numbers. The worst opening weekend belongs to Ant-Man. It grossed 57.2 million back in 2015. If you adjust for inflation, that's 66.2 million. The second worst opening weekend is The Incredible Hulk, which earned 55.4 million in its opening weekend back in 2008. Adjusted for inflation, that's 70.6 million. Even if you don't adjust for inflation, Eternals opening weekend makes it the fifth worst opening weekend in MCU history. It only bests The Incredible Hulk, Ant-Man, Captain America, The First Avenger, and Thor. Captain America, The First Avenger grossed 65 million in its opening weekend in 2011. And Thor brought in 65.7 million in, it was actually 2011, not 2001, like it says in this article, but I'll overlook that since I already know the correct date and year. Despite Eternals underperforming box office estimates, it's possible the film could have some legs. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings previously held the spot for third worst opening weekend for MCU film when it debuted back in September with 75.3 million. That film has moved up the charts with a total haul in North America theaters of 223.7 million so far and a worldwide gross of 417.8 million. It's the highest grossing film in North America for all of 2021 so far. Yep. Well, that's why I have Nightbot. And honestly, getting on to another subject here real quick. Why doesn't YouTube ban those accounts? They're so quick at banning anyone who's perceived of scamming, spamming, or deceptive content. Yet you have this, troll bot, spam bot that pops up into other people's live streams, and that account's still allowed to function, and it shouldn't be. Okay, this article goes on to say, even with the top spot for 2021, the film is still the ninth worst grossing MCU film, only beating Ant-Man and the Wasp, Thor, blah, blah, blah. I read that. Says, however, if you factor in inflation, it becomes the seventh worst grossing film. Ant-Man and the Wasp at a $216.6 million in 2018 is about $264.2 million with inflation. Thor: The Dark World's $206.3 million in 2013 is about $251.6 million with inflation. Says, while Eternals took the top spot, Dune came in second, bringing in another $7.6 million. The film's domestic gross now sits at $83.9 million. Its worldwide... Oh, stupid ad. Let it play. Come on. Stupid ad. Okay. And another stupid ad. Click on it, because that's going to click on it. But anyways, it's talking about the gross for the other movies. But honestly, I have no interest in seeing the Eternals. And it's not because I don't know who the Eternals are. It's because I have no interest in watching anything related to the MCU. And if I do, well, I better have a movie pass that I've been gifted in order to do it. I mean, even Spider-Man No Way Home, I don't really have a lot of interest in seeing that. I mean, if you're going to have Tobey Maguire come back, why don't you just give him his own, fourth Spider-Man sequel? All right, and now let's go ahead and get on to one of the other main topics I wanted to talk about. And there might be a couple articles related to this as well. And this comes out of the Daily Journal. This was posted on 10th. That's the actual that it was posted. Yeah, it was posted yesterday. Okay. So this article, who's the author? Celebritainment. So it's a column. So it says Star Wars Rouge Squadron has been delayed. Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins is set to helm the new sci-fi movie, but fans will have to wait a little longer as Patty's scheduling commitments means it will be impossible to make the film in 2022. Jenkins and writer Matthew Robinson have been developing the project with Lucasfilm for more than a year, and it was set to go into pre-production by the end of the year. However, insiders say that the producers and filmmaking teams realized that Jenkins' schedule and other commitments wouldn't allow for the time needed to make the movie next year. Rouge Squadron now has been taken off the production schedule, although the release date of December 2023 currently remains in place. Patty is also working on a third Wonder Woman film, and sources say that it could be moved forward as a result of the delay of the new Star Wars flick. It says it is hoped that Jenkins will be able to return to the project once she fulfills her other commitments. Lucasfilm also have a number of Star Wars projects in the works, including one from Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige and another from acclaimed director Taika Waititi. And it goes on to say, Patty revealed earlier this year that the script for Rouge Squadron was almost complete and development on the movie had been going amazing. The 50-year-old director said it's going amazing. I had been on it already for 6 months before I even announced that. So we're pretty deep into it. We're finishing the script, screwing up, and it's going to be wonderful. I'm so excited about the story and excited that we're the next chapter of Star Wars, which is such a responsibility and such a opportunity to really start some new things. It's really exciting in that way. Okay. And exactly, Woopa, after all. He is the one who said, I'll destroy your mythos in a minute, baby. I mean, Thor Ragnarok, that was one of the better Thor movies. I'm going to call that a masterpiece. And let's see, since we're on some Patty Jenkins news, let's go on to another article, well, related to news concerning Patty Jenkins. And this comes out of Hollywood Reporter. And this was actually posted on Sunday. Hello, Padawannabe. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. And this article out of the Hollywood Reporter says, Gal Gadot on Linda Carter joining next Wonder Woman. It's even better this time. Well, if you did see Wonder Woman 1984, I'm going to spoil a part of it for you. Linda Carter makes a cameo at the end as one of Themyscira's goddesses who supposedly sacrificed herself and died, but we see her at the end, and she turns to the camera and winks. So she was an Amazonian woman at the end, and of course, for those of you unfamiliar with Linda Carter, she was Wonder Woman back in the 1976 that the original Wonder Woman TV series aired. All right. Unquaddle, thank you. And I'm sorry, I said Padawannabe earlier. I meant Punk Waddle. My bad. My bad. Go ahead. Give the video a dislike. I screwed it up. It's my fault, brother. Alright, so it says the Hollywood Reporter caught up with the franchise star to ask about having her mentor back for the next installment of the Patty Jenkins held blockbuster series. Well, I wouldn't say Wonder Woman 1984 was necessarily a blockbuster. It wasn't as good as the first Wonder Woman movie. We're all three very excited about some things coming up with Wonder Woman 3. Franchise helmer Patty Jenkins teased at the recent DC fandom, essentially confirming the third installment with herself, to titular star Gal Gadot, and TV's original Wonder Woman, Linda Carter. Days later, Gadot told the Hollywood Reporter that it means the world to have Carter on board for the next go-around. First of all, Linda has mentored me from the very first moment that I got cast as Wonder Woman. She was always there, talking to me, giving me tips and everything. She's a true champion of what Patty and I have been doing, and it was so great that we managed to find the right opportunity to bring her to the last movie and now to the third one, said the actress, referring to the end credits scene from 1984 that featured Carter. No further details, but she promised of their next teaming, it's even better this time. I love her very much. I love her dearly. In the meantime, Gadot is on the press trail promoting Netflix's big budget action comedy Red Notice, in which she stars opposite Dwayne Johnson and Ryan Reynolds. The Hollywood Reporter caught up with her again on the red carpet hours after it was revealed that she's poised to join Disney for the live action update of Snow White, starring as the evil queen. I am very excited to play this amazing, iconic villain, and this project is so special, and the people involved are so amazing. She said, I just cannot wait to get into her shoes and stand in front of the world. Says a version of this story first appeared in the November 3rd issue of the Hollywood Reporter magazine. And no, I'm not subscribing. So, yep, Linda Carter is coming back in Wonder Woman 3. Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Whoopa. I forgot. It's Whoopa Wednesday. I really need to get the sound card working so we can celebrate Whoopa Wednesday. You, me, Punk Waddle. Yeah. And Punk Waddle says, hello, Godzillionaire. Do you also have an army of Mecha Godzillas? Oh, that'd be awesome. You know, Doomcock has his robot army. Well, why can't Godzillionaire have his Mecha Godzillionaire army? Okay. Ubertrue says, just saying, if Gal Gadot plays the evil queen, I might root for the bad guys. Me too. But then I tend to root for the heels in wrestling anyway. I used to root for the faces, but now I root for the heels, and it's more fun. To be perfectly honest, it's more fun to root for the bad guys. And Godzhanger says, at Punkwaddle, I prefer an army of lawyers. Much more destructive. Good point. Now that's a good subtitle. That is a good subtitle, Godzilla. Wonder Woman 3. Welcome back. Grab that lasso and wrap it around. Okay, I'll stop. Let's see. What else are we going to talk about tonight? Oh, yeah. There was one more bit of Star Wars news I wanted to cover. But yeah, Patty Jenkins, she's not going to be doing Rouge Squadron because of her schedule. And then I had seen something, and I don't know if it carries any weight or not, but apparently somebody who was working on the production crew for Rouge Squadron got sick with COVID, and that's why they actually delayed it. I don't know. All right. So, going back to bounding in the comics. And this article was published on Monday. But again, since I do Pop Talk on Wednesdays, sometimes you guys will see articles from last week that I didn't cover on last week's episode, and then some at the beginning of the week. But this article from Bounding in the Comics, written by John F. Trent, says, Old Republic era movie rumored to be in the works, with Patty Jenkins' Rouge Squadron delayed. With that headline, I would be much more inclined to see a movie set in the Old Republic over the High Republic. Just saying. And Punk Waddle says, hi, Godzilla. I'm not what I'm afraid of more. Mecha or lawyers? Okay, so this article goes on to say, this rumor dropped late last week from Scooper Big Screen Leaks BSL, who claimed Lucasfilm was working on a film that was not Taika Waititi's, Kevin Feige's, nor Patty Jenkins' Rouge Squadron films. It goes on to say, BSL tweeted, there's a Star Wars film planning to shoot next year. It's not Taika Waititi's, Feige's film or Rouge Squadron. It goes on to say, while BSL does not specifically state anything about the Old Republic in his tweet, the Scooper did allegedly speak to Star Wars Newsnet, who report Lucasfilm have been clandestinely working on several projects as part of their theatrical and streaming states, and word is one of that could take Rouge Squadron's current date is a story set in the days of the Old Republic. Goes on to say, interestingly enough, the Hollywood Reporter would claim on November 8th that Jenkins' Rouge Squadron film would be delayed indefinitely. The Hollywood Reporter's Boris Kidd explains, sources say the producers and filmmaking team came to the realizations that Jenkins' schedule and other commitments wouldn't allow for the window needed to make the movie in 2022. It added, thus Squadron has been taken off the production schedule. The hope is that once Jenkins fulfills her previous commitments, she will still be able to return to the project. He also stated, it has a release date of December 22nd, 2023, and while that currently remains in place, dates can always shift. Goes on to say, on November 6th, when it skips. On November 6th, Star Wars News Net, as part of their coverage of BSL's leak, noted, we reached out to our source for clarification on this interesting story, and we've learned that while Lucasfilm is moving full steam ahead on the Rouge Squadron movie from director Patty Jenkins, they are taking their time to make sure the screenplay is just right before filming begins. In fact, they note, the script in question, written by Matthew Robinson, the invention of Lion, Edge of Tomorrow, and Love and Monsters, has itself received a major rewrite since it was first announced. And Jenkins herself is keeping busy with her work on the third Wonder Woman movie, which she is confirmed to direct, and a planned Amazon spin-off which she is set to produce. In January, Jenkins claimed the treatment for the film was almost completed. She told Collider, we're very far into we're finishing the treatment basically, which is pretty big, so it ends up being like you're fairly close to a well-along screenplay by the time I'm done with the treatment in my process. Excuse me. So yeah, we've been working on it for a while. It's going great. I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about the story. And it goes on to say, in June, Jenkins had previously claimed that Rouge Squadron would be the next film she would work on. She told the Associated Press, I'm in love with all three projects on my plate right now. I'm definitely doing Rouge Squadron next, and I'm excited to do Wonder Woman, and Cleopatra is coming along great as well. It goes on to say, while it's unclear if BSL's claim is true, the timeline does seem to line up to provide credence to his claim. Goes on to say, on top of this, Lucasfilm has reportedly been developing a film set. Let me do that over again. On top of this, Lucasfilm has reportedly been developing a film set in the Old Republic for a couple of years now. Back in 2019, BuzzFeed News reported they hired Alita Battle Angel screenwriter Leta. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce this last name because I'm just going to butcher it, to write an Old Republic film. They claimed that the writer is close to finishing the first script of a potential Knights of the Old Republic trilogy. Before this report, a report in March 2019 claimed that Games of Thrones writers David Benioff and D.B. Wells were working on the Old Republic films, and yeah, we all know what happened with that. Star Wars News Net claimed it's not that the Rian Johnson trilogy, it is Games of Thrones guy's first movie, and it's set during the Old Republic, as Disney wants to open up the Star Wars timeline and appeal to a more Game of Thrones style audience. Goes on to say Lucasfilm is working on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. They announced the project in September during the PlayStation Showcase. And it goes on to say they are also releasing the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on Nintendo Switch on November 11th. So they definitely have Old Republic projects in the works, and it definitely appears they have commissioned work for film projects in the past. But what do you make of the rumor? Are you interested in an Old Republic film? Only if it's done right, but we all know what's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm just going to leave that up for a while. I'll leave that up for. Yeah. Because we all know that's pretty much the Sith Lord nowadays. They read about anything they don't like, anything they don't agree with. And Whoopa Troopa is saying, I swear, ever since Game of Thrones started, everything has to be, yeah, Game of Thrones like. No one has original ideas anymore. No, they don't. They like to retread everybody else's idea. And, sorry, there's only one formula. And when you try to make that formula your own, you're going to miss a key part of an ingredient somewhere. It's like some of the store brands and name brands. You know, some of the store brands, they come pretty close to the actual name brand. But sometimes that name brand just has the edge because they have the original formula. And one more bit of news I did want to talk about tonight before I wrap this up. They have been going on for about... Yeah, we've been going on for almost 2.5 hours here. But there was one more thing I wanted to, just get your guys' thoughts on. I probably won't watch it. I'll probably just stick to the movies, but this is concerning Amazon's Lord of the Rings series that they have been working on and changing. And again, this comes from Bounty in the Comics, John F. Trent. Posted Monday. And it says, a new rumor claims to reveal some details about Sauron's role in Amazon's upcoming The Lord of the Rings series. It says, it was previously that Sauron... Am I missing a paragraph? No, that's just how it starts. It says, it was previously that Sauron would be appearing in Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. The OneRing.net reported back in July 2020, Lord of the Rings as San Diego Comic-Con update. J.A. Bayona, I don't know if I'm even saying that right, is currently filming in New Zealand, the biggest production in the world to resume filming post-COVID. They added New Zealand cast, added New Zealand crew, more New Zealand crew than any production ever. Galadriel, Elrond, and Sauron confirmed. Cast has a tighter bond than ever. Goes on to say, however, just a year later, the website's Cliff Broadway would claim that Sauron would not actually show up in the show's first season. He claims Sauron's avatar will not be revealed in season 1, going with the oldest axiom of show business, always leave them wanting more. A new rumor appears to refute the claim, as Scooper's Fellowship of Fans claim that Sauron does indeed show up in the first season of the show. They tweeted exclusive, Sauron is in season 1 of Lord of the Rings Prime and is a credited character for the first season of Lord of the Rings Prime. And they further added, he is said to be on the Human Village sets, which are apparently based in Middle Earth. His actor was on these sets for many months. Goes on to say, Fellowship of the Fans went on to provide some more details, sharing a number of images reported to show the Human Village, where an actor playing Sauron is said to have been for a number of months. They tweeted exclusive bird's eye view shots of the Human Village set, which the reported Sauron character and actor will be at, and has... I hate these damn ads. Gotta wait for it to run its course. Anybody in the mood to buy a Chevy truck? Alright, so where an actor playing Sauron is said to have been for a number of months. They tweeted exclusive bird's eye view shots of Human Village set, which the reported Sauron character and actor will be at, has been on for many months. This is set at the end of construction, with most buildings they're already built, 80% complete, they added. And of course, here are some of the photos right there. And then it says, Fellowship of the Fans then detail that Sauron is shown as a mysterious, hooded, robed, yet menacing figure. They also noted he's very intimidating. Goes on to say, and J.R.R. Tolkien's The Silmarillion, I can't even say it. I'm going to stop. Sauron is lieutenant of Melkor and commands stronghold in Angband. At one point, Melkor even put Sauron in command of the war when men awoke in Hyderion. At some point, Sauron is not just Melkor's top lieutenant, he also becomes a sorcerer of dreadful power, master of shadows and of phantoms, foul of wisdom, cruel in strength, misshaping what he touched, twisting what he ruled, lord of werewolves. His dominion was torment. Goes on to say, as the show is expected to take place during the Second Age, it's quite likely it will showcase Sauron's involvement in the downfall of the Numian. Appendix B of The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, details that Sauron began to stir again in Middle-earth at the year 500. By the year 1000, Tolkien writes, Sauron, alarmed by the growing power of the Numorians. I'm probably not even saying that right. It's one of those things, once I listen to how it's actually said, I'll get it down the next time I see it. Chooses Mordor as a land to make into a stronghold. He begins the building of Barad-dûr. He eventually seduces the elder smiths of Aragon to treat with him. He eventually instructs them into crafting the rings of power. However, unbeknownst to them, Sauron forges the One Ring in Ordurim. Again, I said that wrong. I know I did. The elder... Sorry. I'm just getting tired, so... But I want to get through this. Alright, so it says, the elder... Okay, come on, Mike. Speak. Subororium eventually perceives Sauron's designs and the War of the Elves, and Sauron begins in 1693 with the aid of the Numerians. Sauron is defeated at Lindum in 1700. However, Sauron would play a deceptive game, he would swear Beatley to heir Farazan, the king of Numoran, and eventually be taken hostage to the capital, Emerlaris. While hostage at Emerlaris, Soren would lie and convince our Bajon that the Valor were actually his enemies, and the Melkor was the Lord of all, giver of freedom. Eventually, Alphazarn would take up worship of Melkor, and the kingdom's worldly possessions and wealth massively increased, but came at a cost of a human sacrifice, as Soren would be brought to me to be burned in his temple. Alright, so basically what it goes on to say is that Soren's gonna appear, and I do apologize for butchering those names. I do sincerely apologize about it. I'm trying here. Yeah, it is. So, I mean, considering I had no interest in watching the Lord of the Rings films when they came out, I didn't actually watch them until this year. So I know someone's going to consider that blasphemy right there, but Lord of the Rings is a big franchise. It has its fan base. I mean, you want to mention somebody who's a big fan of Lord of the Rings, and I'll give credit where credit's due. It's because I heard him talk about it on his channel. But Gary from Nerderotic, he's a big fan of Lord of the Rings, and again, it's because he would talk about it during live streams and even member streams that I started to get a little bit of interest in actually watching the movies and reading the books. So it is a big franchise. And Punkwaddle says to Wolf Troopa, yeah, it used to be that a new idea would happen every 3 years that everyone wanted to reproduce. Now it's 1 or 2 a decade. That's very true, Punkwaddle. Why haven't we had a game of The Walking Dead show? Well, I mean, the actual show, I haven't seen any games of the actual show. Now, there was a Walking Dead game released, and I believe it was 2014, and it was released for PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, etc. And that was a point and click game, but I still got enjoyment out of that. There were actually 3 games released by Telltale, if I recall the publisher's name correctly. And Godzillionaire goes on to say there is no difference between inspired by and blatant ripoff of anymore. That's true. I mean, look at Kurtzman's work. Everything he does is a ripoff. Or maybe a zombies in a biker game. Yeah, cheap knockoff. That's another thing too. Everybody's trying to copy everyone, and it just gets to a point where you just need to start coming up with your own ideas. But unfortunately, Hollywood is incapable of doing that. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the overall stories that I read tonight? I want you all to feel free to post your comments and, just give your overall opinions. I'm sorry, Punk Waddle. Blame me. That's all on me. Although that would be, you know, you should pitch that idea. You really should. I play it. Let's see. Whoopa. Yeah, they were. And one of their games I enjoyed because I'm a Back to the Future nut is their Back to the Future game that they released in 2010. I really liked it because they, brought back Michael J. Fox to voice older Marty McFly, and they brought back Christopher Lloyd to, voice Doc Brown, and they even brought back Claudia Wells to be Jennifer Parker. So that was pretty good. And, to have input from Bob Gale on the storyline, that was icing on the cake for me. But yeah, those were the stories for this evening on Pacific414 Pop Talk. If you all liked what you saw here, well, give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already. If you didn't like what you saw here, give it a thumbs down. If you can't stand the fact that when I'm reading I stutter, well, alright, I'm trying here. And if you like the overall content that you see here on the channel, well, subscribe to the Pacific414 YouTube channel if you haven't already. Yes, Whoopa. There was a Back to the Future game released by Telltale for PlayStation 4, Xbox, and also the PC. I actually have it on my PlayStation 4, so maybe one of these days, it won't be Thursday, it won't be tomorrow, because I already have a game planned that I'm going to stream tomorrow here on the channel and also over on the Twitch channel. But one of these days, I will play that game for the first time in years, and I'll let you get a look at it. Yeah, it's closing in, brother. I didn't think I would get there, but it's closing in. And I do have an intro that I've prepped up for the 100 subscriber show. I do want to have people on that show. It's just a matter of, working with everybody's schedule to make sure that everybody can show up. I don't know if I'm going to do it in this format. I think that when that does occur, I might be better off going with StreamYards, just so I can have, the whole panel on the screen at the same time instead of trying to, do a window capture of everybody and get them into the window frame and dealing with all that. Tonight, like I said, with this is, part of an experiment, and it's something I just got to keep working on in order for it to get better. Because, I would really like to have it where you all can hear what's coming out of this sound card. Let me get it in frame. So I'll be working on that. Hopefully I'll have it set up for Saturday's stream, when the Pop Talk and Over the Barricade are giving our, reactions and the results of All Elite's Full Gear pay-per-view. So hopefully I'll have it working properly by then. I'll be running tests from here and there just to make sure, and if I can't get it to work by Saturday, then I'll just figure out a way to get it to work. But yeah. Hey, Brightest Day. Thank you for showing up, man. Really appreciate it. I really like coming over to your channel too and listening to your reads too. I really find that enjoyable. Alright. So, is there anything you guys would like to add before I bid you adieu and come back tomorrow and give you a stream of a certain game that's being released tomorrow if you didn't know already. Not gonna drop a hint just yet. In order to find out what I'm streaming tomorrow, well, tune in to the channel tomorrow or just keep an eye on the social media. You all know if you're already here, or you may not know in some cases too, that you can find me on Twitter at Pacific414. You can also find me on Instagram at Instagram.com Pacific_414. You can find me on Discord. And you can also find me on Twitch. And give me a follow on Twitch if you'd like to as well. As a matter of fact, I will go ahead and put in that information real quick, or as quick as I can type. So if you haven't followed me yet over on the Twitch channel, there's the link. You can follow me over on the Pacific414 Twitch channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And one thing I am probably going to be doing in the future is doing some game streams exclusively on the Twitch channel, and then other game streams exclusively here on the YouTube channel. And for streams like tomorrow's streams and this past Sunday's G.I. Joe stream that I did, streaming it on both channels. So until tomorrow, when I'm going to be streaming a particular game that comes out tomorrow, that's all I'm going to say. I'm trying to keep it a surprise. But until tomorrow, this has been Mike for Pacific414 Pop Talk. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for stopping by. I want to thank Brightest Day. I want to thank Godzillionaire. I want to thank Alan Copeland. I want to thank Spock, Woopa Troopa, Punkwaddle, the Nerdporial Lifeform. You know, each and every one of you who stopped by during the live stream, or if you stop by after the live stream and leave a comment, thank you very much. And again, thumbs up, thumbs down, share this video. Have yourselves a great Wednesday night. Have yourself a great rest of the week if I don't see you between now, tomorrow, and Saturday. And I also just want to make a quick plug. If you're into wrestling, if you're into All Elite Wrestling and the product that they're putting out right now, you can catch the podcast every Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern. And here, 1 second, let me go ahead and I get the link. Just in case you're all interested. Because we would appreciate anybody who stops by to view. And of course, you can download the podcast from Amazon Music and Spotify. It's Over the Barricade Podcast. So that's one thing that the host, Quidman Jenkins, is really trying to push, is to get people to listen to the podcast as opposed to viewing the podcast. But he does want to build up a fan base over on the Twitch channel, so I told him I will do whatever I can to help, draw more interest to that stream, since we're both a part of it. It's his baby. He was gracious enough to ask me to be a part of it, and I accepted. So it's a lot of fun. It's just like last week when I was on the Star Wars Guys channel for the first time, and we were discussing the last 3 episodes of Star Trek Continues, and then of course last night we were discussing Star Trek the Motion Picture, the Director's Edition. I'm just honored, humbled, and grateful to be a part of those. So it means a lot to me, just like I'm honored, humbled, and grateful for each and every one of you who tune in to my live streams, watch any of my videos, and have subscribed to this channel. It means a lot, especially with how this year began. You know, as I said last week on the Star Wars Guy's channel, you know, at the end of the year, well, the sky's the limit. So thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for, you know, just being a part of this. So until tomorrow night or the next time I see you all, take care.